Hello, my friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Next Level Play, your source for all things
gaming. I'm Sydney.
esports. Oh yeah, I'm Marcus.
I feel like we never say hi anymore.
Hey, I'm Marcus.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, this is Next Level Play podcast. We're a show about gaming, esports.
Yes,
You said it.
but not just esports and gaming. We talk about all things pop culture. We talk about movies. We talk about anime.
We talk about turn the sound on
Yeah.
your computer off, Marcus.
Shame
This is
on
a
me.
professional studio.
$5 in the jar.
And we have on amazing guests.
Who's our guest today?
Our guest, I love her. We had her on for a different episode. You should go watch it. But Shiho is back with us to talk anime, to talk acting and singing and all the things that she's doing.
But first, I think we gotta make some bold predictions about the future. Dive into the news we mixed because the future of esports and gaming is right here.
Right now.
Next Level Play.
Another lovely day at the ESR studio to do my favorite show, Next Level Play podcast, with you, Marcus.
I can't wait to tell all your other employers that you said that so that we can keep you forever.
Oh yeah, please let them know that
you hate their job. You hate your job.
What?
Every job you have except for ours. This is what you live for.
Yeah, it was like except for this one.
Yeah.
My favorite place to be. No, I love being here because there's so much that I want to talk about, and I could scream into the void. I could type all my thoughts out online, but instead I get to come here, discuss it with you, argue for an hour, and tell everybody at home about my thoughts and opinions.
We have an undeserved platform, do you? That's what
I have a
thought.
microphone. Do you?
Leave a comment in
Be nice to me in the comments. Just kidding. Say whatever you want.
insulting our audience early. I love to make friends.
You love to make a friend.
Cheers.
Today, we're definitely going to talk more about anime. Obviously, we were on a tear on the last episode, and we're having Shiho back. So obviously, we're going to dip into that a little bit. But there's some other stuff I wanted to talk about. On the last episode, we kind of dove into the console wars, talked a bit about like the PlayStation versus Xbox discussion. And I feel like we didn't really talk about Nintendo as much just because it wasn't part of that conversation.
Yeah, it's become a third type of its own thing.
Yeah, which classic Nintendo becoming its own thing, surviving on its own, making its own money, having its own IPs. It's great at it. But we have to talk about the Switch too.
We do.
We've made some predictions. We've had previous episodes last year. This is early when we were like, when's it going to come out? When's it going to release? Making a lot of predictions about it, bold. And my hot take, and I stand by it, was that I don't care for the Switch 2. I have my reasons. I still have my Switch 1. Yeah. I play it sometimes. I don't really play it as much.
We got a couple of overly popular TikToks talking about how we're not feeling the hype of the Switch 2 just yet.
And people were upset.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
But I can't help but feel a little vindicated by the eventual release or the announcement release, which was very much botched because of leaks. However, I'm waiting here. We're here over a month later. And maybe the Switch 2 has even come out by the time this airs.
Maybe it will.
Yeah, and I'm just overall incredibly underwhelmed.
Which gotta say, folks, you might be mad, but I did predict this.
We started this podcast about a year and a half before the Switch 2 was actually released.
Yes.
And it was all
rumors.
Right, that too. But I mean, the announcement was only a few months before the actual release, which, great, Nintendo, I appreciate that, rather than milking it. But I mean, the predictions that people had, everyone was hyped, talking about the specs. It was like a full year of, oh my gosh, the Switch 2 is gonna get announced next week, and it never fucking happened. And then it finally did get announced, and what did it show? I remember in 2016, like December 2016, or right before 2017, they revealed the Switch 1, and it was a dude playing the new Zelda on the couch, and then all of a sudden he stands up, does a little Switch thing, takes it to go, and people are like, whoa, my God. A true handheld console. It was a big deal.
The design, the Joy-Cons coming off.
Since the Steam Deck, I mean, the excitement's died down, but like that was a big jump. So I'm sorry. I have some faith in Nintendo as a Nintendo fanboy. I was expecting something.
A big jump.
Something. Because we already had the OLED with a bigger screen. And yeah, the Joy-Cons. We all knew the Joy-Cons were a problem, but Nintendo fans, we all resigned nearly a decade ago just shelling out the $80 for the Switch Pro controller because no one's fucking playing the Joy-Cons. Joy-Cons are basically abandoned. right? Every serious Switch player has gotten a better controller since then. Yeah, we want the Joy-Cons to be bigger. We want them to be more functional. We don't want to, we're not 5-year-old children holding these little, yes, that was an upgrade and needed to happen. But what the fuck did the Switch 2 trailer show me other than, oh, the controller is slightly bigger and we threw an extra button with a C on it? Oh, is it camera? Is it another? Like, who fucking cares? You made the screen bigger. You gave me an OLED that I think the docking feature is slightly easier where you don't need a dock to put it up to the screen. Oh, wow, you can connect a cord and directly put your Switch onto the screen and you don't need a dock. Whoop-de-fucking-do. You should have had that in the first place. Why do we need a fucking plastic shell dock to put it onto our TV in the first place? Why should I buy a Switch 2? Why?
I mean, I'm there with you. I was there from the beginning. I didn't feel like it was a needed thing to recreate a console that already has achieved so much.
Yeah.
And they did exactly that. They recreated the Switch. They made basically no updates to it. They're selling it for an expensive price. And for what? You already have the Nintendo store for exclusive Nintendo you can get any Nintendo content you want on the original Switch. Unless they're doing these games are only going to work on the Switch 2, which
is going to happen in the next. Nintendo is not going to be shy like Sony, where they're going to try to appeal to their market share. They're going to have Switch 2 exclusives. Yep. Every big game coming out within a year from now
that you can't purchase on a Switch 1
and
the OG.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I think, for all the problems that maybe happened with the OG Switches, I talked about the screen bleed on mine and how, the Joy-Con drifting. You can replace the Joy-Cons. You can buy new Joy-Cons. You can get a different, if you want to not even play handheld and you only play it docked, you can get the Switch Pro controller. Mm-hmm. There are things that make your gaming experience better that Nintendo was great at. To create the Switch 2, to build the hype, to talk about the specs so much. And for what? For what? To make an extra button? It was underwhelming to me. Personally, I wouldn't shell out the cash for it. I'm not really interested in it. They would have to make so many games exclusive to the Switch 2 that I actually felt... If they took Animal Crossing off the original... So if they were like, no more games on the Switch, we're only doing on the Switch 2, maybe, fucking maybe...
And in a perfect world, I wanted some brand new, blow my mind. The Wii, when the Wii came out, I never thought of anything like the Wiimote. When the Switch came out, I hadn't imagined anything like that. Again, Nintendo, you're smart. You can come up with these ideas better than I can. So I was expecting some new groundbreaking gimmick. And I know they're probably trying to play it safe, because with the Wii sequel, the Wii U, they botched it. Yeah. They tried to get too creative. So they're playing it safe, keeping it to the Switch. But Jesus Christ. I have nothing to get hyped for. I mean, the one game that's coming out for Nintendo, and that was the other thing, they should have at least revealed Super Mario Odyssey 2 or a new Animal Crossing.
Should have paired it.
Odyssey. Yeah, that's the right word. Or a new Zelda or something to hype it. But all you have going for you right now without that new reveal is Metroid Prime 4, which, as someone who's been waiting, and we replied to a comment on a TikTok earlier about this, I've been waiting for Metroid Prime 4 for close to 2 decades, which is mind-blowing the more I think about it. I was 13 when Metroid Prime 3 came out. I've been waiting 18 years. I feel like Rose from Titanic when I say that, because I've been waiting so long for this game. And it was announced on the Switch 5+ years ago now at this point. If you don't release it on the Switch, I'm going to be incredibly insulted.
That would be crazy.
Yes, it better be released simultaneously on the Switch and the Switch 2. It would be bullshit if not. But Catch-22, there's no reason for me to buy the Switch 2 unless you announce some system-selling fucking game, which they don't have. They have a new button, a larger screen, and a slightly more comfortable controller, which people are going to ditch for a Pro controller in 5 seconds anyway.
And I'm going to segue out of it because we're just going to yell more, which we don't need to do. You know our opinions. Share your own if you want in the comments on TikTok and Instagram and stuff. We're always there to hear you out and listen. I'm curious what you guys think. But I do feel a bit vindicated in that I didn't think it would be that impressive.
Yeah.
To me, doesn't seem like it. Maybe to you, you're all about it and you've been waiting for the Switch 2. And I hope it brings you joy. I hope you Marie Kondo your old Switch and bring in your new Switch and it sparks joy.
Can I go on one more rant?
Just a little one.
Just a little one.
Teeny tiny baby
Thank you for being patient with me. The name in and of itself, Switch 2, says it all. This is Nintendo we're fucking talking about, all right? You didn't go NES 2, the Nintendo Entertainment System 2. No, you went Super Nintendo. You were in the middle of the console war. You went Nintendo 64. We're talking about the fucking bits. GameCube, totally different. And then you have the Wii, and you didn't call it the Wii 2. No, you called it the Wii U. At least that's a little bit fucking creative. The fact that this is the first Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Advance.
Which had color, a big, new, innovative thing for a handheld. Well, there was the Game Gear. Anyway, regardless, the Game Boy Advance, it's advanced, the SP. You didn't just fucking get lazy and put a 2 after the Super Nintendo 2.
Okay, ready?
The Nintendo 64 2.
Really quick. Let's just name what we should have named it. Here's my one. Switched Up.
Oh, that's even better. That's
You give one.
a fucking awesome console.
Okay.
The Nintendo Ultra, the original name of the 64. Why not? That's better.
First one's called Switch. Second one's called Flick.
The fun fucker. The Super Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch 64.
The Switch Advance.
This is why Nintendo doesn't hire me. But regardless, get a little more fucking creative than Switch. The complacency of the naming of the console, I feel, speaks volumes of the complacency of the release.
It's like as if they knew.
It's playing it as safe as you fucking can get.
They got that final model, like, prototype, and they were like, well, we can't call it the Super or Advance. We just got to call it Switch 2 because it's basically the same.
I shit on the Xbox One, or whatever it's called, after the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
But at least they made a new console with more specs. To me, the Switch 2 feels like re-releasing the Xbox 360 without the red ring of death. Like,
right.
You fixed your Joy-Con issues.
We fixed the problem.
And the specs are a little higher. But
pay us $600 more.
What the fuck? I don't see any point in when I'm gonna be primarily playing classic games and Super Smash Brothers, and until you make the Marios and the Zeldas exclusive on the Switch 2, I have no incentive.
Here's what I wanted to segue to, because I think there's a thing happening, and the people that were mad in our comments about me kind of shitting on the Switch, go off kings and queens, that's okay. But I want you to ask yourselves, are you being tainted with rose-colored glasses for your nostalgia and love for Nintendo and Nintendo games as a whole?
I feel personally attacked.
I'm sorry
I get the point
to
you're saying,
attack you
yeah.
in this way. But I feel like, and I'm right there with you. Like, I still like my PlayStation 2. I have an affinity for Lara Croft games, even though the Tomb Raider games now are so far and away from what they used to be. But I'm still a fan. I'm like, oh, I like Tomb Raider. I'm a fan. Do you think, Nintendo fans out there, that you'll buy anything Nintendo gives you because you like Zelda, because you like Pokemon, because you like Metroid? Do you think that it's skewing your view a little bit? I think yes. But I think nostalgia is powerful in that way, especially with video games. And we talk about nostalgia a lot, and our love for things. And I think it's powerful in a positive way. But I think nostalgia can be powerful in a negative way too, and sort of limit us and limit the possibilities of things, like limiting Nintendo's creativity and thought for what a Switch 2 could be, because they're like, well, people like the Switch, and people, we want to stay with what we know. It's like a safe zone. It's a comfort. And I'm curious. I want to know how you feel. We talk about nostalgia a lot.
We do, yeah. But
sort of in this vein now of, do you think it is hindering us in the video game community?
I have so many thoughts, especially as a primarily retro gamer.
I know you are.
So
I know you are, but what am I?
And the nostalgia is something I chase. There's a certain hook to games that have a link.
Sounds like you're addicted to nostalgia.
To my childhood. A little bit, yes, and I don't disagree with that. It's tough for me to get into new IPs without that link. To me, it is impossible for a game to engross me more than a classic video game that I played as a childhood, but kind of sucked at. But played to death, and then go back as an adult and master.
And beat it.
Yeah, like and that's the great thing about old video games too. It's beating it is one thing. The completionist aspect of video games has gone away a little bit. But I think of the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. The first game I ever played was Crash Bandicoot 2, alongside of Super Mario Brothers 1. To go back as an adult and 100% Crash Bandicoot 2, maybe the most rewarding, enjoyable video game experience I've ever had in my entire life. Because you have the nostalgia, but then I had a better understanding of games and mechanics, and could notice secrets a little better when I was 20 versus 5. Regardless, nostalgia is a huge part of games and every media, and it's the reason why ever since the 80s, heck, you could go back to the 70s, that sequels and remakes are so popular, is because that nostalgia, people will pay more to relive their childhood in a sense.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful feeling, but it's also, I can't help but feel like 90% of the time when you're so pumped, oh my God, I haven't seen that in 20 years. And then you see it and it's like,
Bit of a letdown.
it's not quite what you remember.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
that's a little bit tough. And those rose-colored glasses, I feel cursed. I feel like
I was about to say.
I will never know that joy that I did when I was a kid discovering the world of a new franchise. Now it's always going to be compared to those childhood wonders and joys. Shout out Super Mario Wonder, where it's such a weird balance that I can't strike, that I can't articulate of I want creativity. I hate the Hollywood remakes, the sequels, the reboots. I want something new. And yet I can't help but be trapped in that childhood wonder, the longing for that kind of nostalgia high
Yeah.
that you can only get when you have callbacks, which maybe that's the curse of being an adult. But
Yeah. That's the curse of aging.
Honestly.
That you long for the past.
yes, and Nintendo knows how to play on that nostalgia better than maybe anybody, and it's why I'm a fanboy. And they still get creative, and you have your ARMS and your Splatoons, and some work, some doesn't. But
And their Pokemon Goes for the modern youths.
oh my God, yeah, Pokemon Go was 10 years ago.
No.
Yes,
People are still playing it.
I know.
It's got a stranglehold on some people.
We're already having nostalgia for Pokemon Go, which preyed on the nostalgia of Pokemon Gen 1 from the late 90s.
Oh my gosh.
We're almost as far removed from Pokemon Go as we were from the first generation, which is just fucking
love it.
mind-blowing.
I love
Time
it.
keeps on
You said
moving
something.
forward.
You said something interesting, which I don't even know if I can add to, but I wanted to point out.
Yeah.
It feels like a curse. Like it's almost like you're shown the candy house, you know, Hansel and Gretel style. You're taken in by like the sweet aromas and the fantasticness and the shininess of everything, and it's so familiar because, like, yeah, it's candy. You've always grew up with candy. It's my childlike wonder, and then you sort of blink and rub your eyes, and it's this grimy, worn down, abandoned house, and the food is rotten, you know, and it smells rancid. And you want to get out of there as fast as possible. And I feel like it's similar. It can be so good, but it can be a trap.
Yeah.
It can be an absolute trap that I think does hold us back sometimes from, like you said, maybe trying something new.
Right.
Giving that market like a fresh influx by trying new games and things because you're so fixated that you're like, no, I
It
just
can't
want
be
to,
better than what I had as a kid.
or I just want to replay things that I had, which like is still enjoyable for you, and nothing is wrong with that.
It's the back in my day philosophy, which
Sure.
I'm already following it. I mean, you're only as old as you feel, and by that logic, I'm an 80-year-old man yelling at kids on my porch, which I love.
My back hurts.
I love being a curmudgeon more than anything. But I mean, I'm already feeling it where I look at Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and I'm like, skibbity go fuck yourself, you know what I mean? I can't relate. Like, I'm an old man, and I'm thinking about the games that I had in the late 90s, and back in my day it was better, and I've always been that way. I mean, I think, and this is my problem, this is a personal problem, it makes me incredibly closed-minded. I think the best films and the best music were in the 1970s. 1990s, a close second. And
Fascinating hot takes.
maybe we can get into that another time. Music especially, I feel like. The reason I'm not a music guy is because I think the aughts, 2000, 2009, worst decade in music history.
I don't think so.
I personally think. We have club music.
What's wrong with
and
club music?
Club music is fine, but I mean, you talk about the alternative rock of the 90s,
Well,
you talk about the pop of the 80s, the rock of the 70s, folk of the 60s.
There is a time and a place for everything. And this is a very lukewarm take. I'm not saying like everything in moderation.
I'm being a crotchety old man here, by the way.
But I think nostalgia has its time and place. And it is so rewarding, like you said, to play an old game, watch an old show, watch an old movie with the knowledge and headspace of an older person.
Yeah.
I think that's special, and it's a luxury to live a life where you can continue to look back at things with a newfound take on it.
I mean, historical perseverance, I think, is an important factor for the quality of art, personally.
Totally. And like, I know, you know, as a human being going through the world, when you're 18, you're like, now I understand. Then you hit 25 and you're like, okay, now I understand. Then you hit 30 and it continues forever and ever and ever. And you will never fully understand. And that's the beauty of it. And I think nostalgia is good for that. I think that's character growth. You look back, you think about things from the past, and you have a new appreciation or distaste for it. You can decide, you can change. People can change. You can decide, like, actually, that game was not that good.
Yeah.
I don't need to play it anymore. You know, like whatever, for whatever
Which
reason.
happens, yeah.
But I think the trap of it does hinder us and has hindered the video game world specifically due to the remakes, the remasters, the safety of a prequel or a sequel to a story that we know so well that doesn't really add anything to it.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing new games. Unlike Marcus, I think I'm really active in trying to seek out unique, different games than from retro games.
It's rare.
But I think that's why we work so well together, because you have this knowledge of these retro games and where these other games have taken ideas from and builds and game, like, you know, just the way that a game functions. It all comes from somewhere. And it comes from these older games.
And maybe that's my ADHD, and maybe that's like a problem of it. I get so fixated on things. And so to me, I have these passions and these roots of knowledge that are deep and have like a lore behind it and a history that's really hard for me to plant another seed. I've already invested so much of my memories, my time, my thought into these franchises. It's easier to make that tree grow than plant a new tree.
Hey.
And that's a tough thing for me personally.
No,
it makes me like, oh, everything's bad that's new. It's like, and that's
but
a problem.
to be devil's advocate to what I was even just saying, maybe that makes me surface level. You know, no. But I'm just saying, I love to try new things. I'm exploring new games, but I'm not a completionist. I'm not diving into every game to be like, where did they pull this mechanic from? Oh, it must have been from the original Donkey Kong. You know, like, I'm not thinking that way. That's just not how I play video games. But I think there's something to be said for both ways of thinking and trying to view the world. I can probably try some older games. You could maybe.
Oh, I am happy to.
Try some newer games.
I'd love to.
But I think it's an important thing to keep in mind and be mindful of, not just with the Switch discussions and stuff, but just nostalgia as a positive, nostalgia as a negative.
Yeah, and I will fully admit, I think my, again, ADHD brain, where I'm like, I build on history. I think before like 2010, I'm more knowledgeable than your average bear. But then when it comes to modern day, in the last 15 years, I dare say the average video game fan probably knows more about modern gaming than I do. So I mean, it's
nothing wrong with either way.
Nothing wrong with that. I don't think I have that balance right. I think, and I lean more into nostalgia because that brings me joy. And if that's, you know, if you're a retro gamer because of that, more power to you. But there is a whole other world out there that if you premeditate your notions of, hey, this isn't as good as the thing back in my day.
Yeah.
You're gonna, you know, spoil the pot. It's the same as overhyping something. You're expected to have. Is my problem with Red Dead Redemption 2. It's like, you know, everyone told me it was the best game ever, and
it's pretty good.
When I wasn't instantly hooked, I got turned off because when the hype is too high, you know, that's a problem as well. But,
every grain of salt. Make your own choices. Try games. Play retro games. I did want to say, or you want to make a point?
No. I have like stupid ramble.
No, I was just gonna segue us into, for instance, with the nostalgia factor and stuff. We've been talking a lot about anime, and Shiho, I'm sure, is going to have some great takes when we talk to her later about nostalgia and shows we loved that continue to pop up as video games. We talked about that on the last episode, or live action shows. One Piece came out first season, mixed bag of what people.
It was better than I thought it would be.
It was better than what people anticipated. We've been burned before. Avatar: The Last Airbender films.
Oh boy! Well, the film and the show, both of them.
The animated show?
Yeah. No. The live action show.
Yeah.
The
M. Night Shyamalan film.
They came out like a year ago, and we've already forgotten about the live action Last Airbender. Like that just shows how little staying power.
Great that show
had.
The show was fine. Whatever. I was gonna say the new One Piece. They're renewing it for a new season.
For a second season.
Yeah, and fine. Like it's hard to make judgment again because One Piece wasn't the nostalgia show for me.
Yeah.
If they were doing a Sailor Moon live action, I might be a little bit more into it. But I'm like, cool. People love One Piece. There's nothing wrong with continuing a show if people are enjoying it and the numbers are there for the networks. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering. In your mind, is that like, that's the trap? You know, another season of One Piece, a show that already exists in its own different format.
You know, I feel like I've talked, and I may have talked about this on the podcast. It was before the One Piece show came out, perhaps. Might be going back a bit. But that is one example of where I was dead wrong, and I'll admit I'm dead wrong. We've had a lot of predictions, and I dare say I think we have a pretty good thumb on the pulse of the zeitgeist in general. For example, not the Fallout show, because we both saw them. We're like, that actually might be good. But the Borderlands movie.
Oh my God.
We smelled that
Yeah.
rotting corpse from a mile away. We were
Yeah.
like, this is gonna bomb. I didn't realize it was gonna be one of the biggest bombs in all of history.
Wait, what?
But it fucking was. Yes. Everything we said was magnified within I was like, this is gonna bomb.
We
It
knew.
bombed.
We knew.
It was bad.
Have you seen it?
Fuck no.
I have not
I'm not
either.
wasting my time.
Yeah.
My time is not valuable. It's worth 5 cents, but even that time is not worth putting towards watching Borderlands. It got nominated for more Razzies than I think any other movie this year. It's bad. But
I wanna make a point though.
please.
Most of what we say is bad are adaptations from anime, manga, a book, a video game into a live action movie or TV show. There's a reason why some things exist in different formats because it's really hard to do in live action.
Yeah.
Whether that's because it's like magic or CGI and all that shit. But I will say there have been some amazing adaptations from books, from manga, from TV shows into animation. And I wanted to point out like Castlevania for one.
Yes. Well, Netflix.
Love the show.
Yeah.
They did great. Cyberpunk.
Netflix has been killing it.
Netflix has been killing it.
In that regard.
Arcana.
Yeah.
Did you watch
Arcane is
the
incredible.
League of Legends? Arcane
gosh.
Arcane is so awesome.
Well, that's what I want to talk about with the One Piece too, because I was working with I was part of a freelance team that was working for Netflix marketing.
Oh, right,
before
right,
the
right,
writer's
yeah.
strike, like 2 years ago, and I'm not even joking. Arcane was such a success that a huge chunk of my job, like a fourth to a third, was carrying that Arcane momentum into other shows because Arcane was such a huge hit that it was incredible. Castlevania was a bit before I signed on, so that was before then, and then One Piece was coming out, just to kind of bring it full circle to what you were first asking me. And I got to see a rough cut of the trailer like 9 months before it came out. And my prediction was that it was going to bomb. I thought it was bad. I mean, it was a rough trailer. There were no digital effects. I thought the casting was all over the place. And I thought the diehards were gonna kill it.
Yeah.
You know? I was wrong. I 100% was wrong. It ended up being I think it was a bad initial trailer edit. They cleaned it up. I give a lot of credit to the editors. The performances were actually phenomenal. They turned it into an anime. I think the editing was really key with that show. But they pulled it off. I mean, the One Piece adaptation compared to a lot of others, especially like the Death Note adaptation,
significantly better.
very well received.
And there's the thing you said, which is funny, like they turned it into an anime. Anime has a lightheartedness to it. Even
There's
when
a flow
it's
to it,
dark
yeah.
and gritty, there's moments of comedy and like silliness. And I feel like most of those live action remakes, films included, it's always like
Too
the
dark.
dark, gritty version of Luffy. We're gonna do One Piece and make it weird. And it's like the kid's arms grow.
Yeah, The Dark Knight was 2008. Like we've come a long way since
We've
then.
moved past, we're in the bright Marvel universe now, you know. But I think there are some really cool games out there that could be translated into animated series. And there's so many cool animation styles, like Arcane, very interesting animation style.
Of course, yeah.
But I don't know, like we talked about, I don't know if we've ever talked about Shogun on our show, because it's not anime, but it's a great show.
Yeah, sweeping the Emmys.
And it makes me think of like, what about a Sekiro game or a Rise of the Ronin game translated into an animated series? I don't know. I would enjoy it. A Ronin or like a samurai story.
I agree.
Actually, you know what? Blue Eye Samurai.
There you exactly.
It's already been done.
I was on the marketing
It's been
team
done.
for that.
It's been done.
It was right before they laid me off because the writer's strike. Yeah, Blue Eye Samurai. We were all about that.
Which I love, which is
Yes.
such a good
Great,
show.
Great show.
But I feel like
Phenomenal show.
with that momentum, there's a lot of great video games out there that instead of making it a live action, easily I think could turn it into an animated series. I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Oh, okay.
And I actually haven't played the first game. Don't yell at me. I'm going to play it later, but I've already started the second. I'm very into it. Henry of Skalitz of Ratai. And it's English. It's the 15th century, which is a very
It's
interesting...
still Three Kingdoms era, isn't it?
It's Bohemia. It's the Kingdom of Bohemia. It's before War of the Roses.
Okay.
It's early. It's stuff...
Wait, so this isn't Japan. This is
No.
Europe? Okay.
This is
Yeah,
Europe.
yeah.
This is the Czech
Shout out Michael Douglas.
Republic. This is Kingdom of Bohemia.
Yeah.
It's like tiny feudal lords and two main kings. It's very
in the Holy Roman Empire type of.
No, it's not. I think it's even before that. It's 1400s. Okay. It's a time period that I don't know much about. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm learning a lot through the game, and I'm like, man, this would make, because they've done Tudors. They've done Downton Abbey, Bridgerton, sort of Regency era
the
stuff.
The chivalry franchise
but
is
this
great
is,
for the medieval knight thing.
But this is the 1400s. This is down and dirty, gritty, like it's peasants.
So you got knights in armor, but you also have gunpowder and blunderbusses.
No
I guess that is a couple hundred years
guns.
later.
No guns.
All right.
And it's like when you fight in the game, the combat is really as if you're swinging a big old sword and just hitting a guy covered in armor. It's like brutal.
Clang.
Oh, it's just like chung, cha-chung. It's so brutal. And I'm like, man, I'd love to see a show based off of that game, following sort of a semi-historical, like Shogun, semi-historical accurate storyline of this knight who is following this like minor lord. It's very interesting to me. And I don't know, I think there's a lot of potential without doing the nostalgia trap of these newer games.
Yeah, all those 500-year-old gamers, like just nostalgic for the old days.
We're like,
back in the
bring
15th
us
century.
back to Europe. The Crusades were good.
My buddy Billy Shakes, bring him back.
Bring back gladiator pits. They were good for morale. Do you have any games that you could think of translated into a series? I'll shoot another one out there too. Baldur's Gate, a classic D&D adventure that would be such an easy transition into an animated show.
Again,
if they just want to make that money.
Old man me.
Come on, old man Marcus.
I got the two things where I'm like, my nostalgia is tied to like the actual, like, if you remade the original Legend of Zelda, I'd be a cynical asshole about it and be like, oh, I want to play the original. What was I just talking about where they had like a remake type
But put
of
it
thing?
in a TV show.
And that's kind of the point I'm making is it's like, why, yes, I want the nostalgia, but I'm more turned off by all of that than I am turned on. And I am so cynical that I fuck it.
You wouldn't watch it.
My nostalgia will come from the original property. If I am nostalgic for 80s movies, I'm going to put on Predator. I'm going to put on Terminator. I'm not going to watch Stranger Things to remind me of the 80s when there's so much 80s shit there. Same with video games.
What about a new story with the characters you know?
I'd rather something original. Okay. Like, why? Why? Okay. What's the point? You've tried that. You've done that. You've milked it to death. Like, I don't need any kind of rehash of something that has been done better within the time period that it was supposed to represent.
No. But I'm saying like a League of Legends Arcane. The show is not the game at all. But it's taking those characters, the iconic characters and their builds, and turning it into its original story.
Yeah. And there's obviously... Listen, I understand
it's doing
modern media,
it's
and
doing
that's what's going to sell. I'd rather something original, but you're putting me on the spot. I'm trying to think of something that hasn't been done before.
I know,
as
that's
like
what's
an
hard.
Actual TV show.
I even said I was like a samurai game, a samurai show. It exists.
But again, it's like the video game medium is different than the film medium for a reason. You have your Shogun, but then you also have your Sekiro,
right?
And you also have your Ghost of Tsushima. Like there's different markets for that where you can tell those stories in unique ways that don't need to depend on another source material.
Fair.
In order to succeed.
I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm being over here on your shoulder.
And I love it. And we've been talking about Pokemon. About anime for the last 2 days, right? And anime is amazing, and the Pokemon anime is amazing. But the Pokemon anime, I don't know anyone who puts that in like a top 5, top 10 list of animes of all time. No, it's to better market the video game, which is where Pokemon is originally meant to be. So this obsession with adapting something that already exists from one medium to another.
Yeah.
To me, that's what frustrates me and makes me like an old curmudgeon more than anything. It's like, it's one thing to kind of remake something that was already good, but to force a square peg in a round hole just feels
and I feel like that is that's the positive nostalgia awareness where you're like, I'm not falling for that. Like it already exists. This isn't for me.
I want to make another, and this is way too lofty, forgive me, but just kind of a philosophy about nostalgia.
Okay.
I feel like there are 3 tests for art in the very macro. I'm talking like multi-decade sphere.
Okay.
Right? The first is, is it popular? Is it something that's popular in and of itself?
Okay.
In the modern era. Great. If it is, awesome. A second, are you remembering it? Hey, I remember that movie, that song, that video game that came out 10 years. That was so much fun. I want to relive that. That's where a lot of people stop. They don't go back and replay that song, that movie. They don't rewatch the movie. They don't play it. They're just like, oh my God, Crash Bandicoot 2 was so great. We need more hallway 3D platformers. That's step 2, is being remembered 10 plus years down the line. Step 3, which I think is very rare and very rarely seen, is whether or not it actually passes that test of, is it still good? Does it still hold up?
So you have to revisit it.
Yes, you were popular. Yes, you're remembered. Are you still good? So you go in back and replay, and there's so many nostalgic titles, movies, books, video games that I go back and play, and I'm all excited. And maybe 20% of them, 10% of them, I'm like, this is still fucking choice. So to go through all those phases, popular when it comes out, remembered, and then still holds up is so fucking rare. And I can only think of a very small handful of media titles throughout everything.
The Mona Lisa.
I mean, yeah, we're talking 600 years. All of Shakespeare's works. We're still talking about Shakespeare. A little overrated, if you ask me, but
And honestly, some of his works, not that good.
Thank you for saying it.
Some of his works, not that good.
Thank you for not leaving me on an island like Prospero from Tempest.
Through a modern lens, some of them kind of bad, and the characters are a little bit racist sometimes, a little bit not good.
Just a little bit.
No high school should put those shows on again.
But Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet, fucking bangers.
And speaking of, I mean, if it passes the sniff test for nostalgia, the remake of Macbeth with Denzel. Did you see it? The black and white film?
I did. Frances McDormand. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Frances McDormand, amazing in it as Lady Macbeth, but a great remake. It was good. Weird. It was
Macbeth. I think is overrated too, but that's not.
But for me, it passed the sniff test, where you can revisit something, kind of remake it in an image that you want, but it is still something that is thought of, respected. Well liked, and then you can go back to it.
And it's like, how ambitious do you want to be as an artist? Because I'm thinking of what made arguably the most money this year, the Mufasa spin-off film.
Did it?
This is the sequel.
Did it?
This is the sequel to a remake
that was bad
of a film that is based on Hamlet. Okay, so talk to me. Hamlet is what Lion King is based off of. You made Lion King in 1994. Bear with me as I
just need to know, this movie made money?
Oh, it made a fuck ton of money.
I'm shocked.
I don't know if it's the most successful movie this year, but it was fucking.
I'm shocked.
It made a lot of money.
I thought it was gonna bomb. Go on.
No, everybody saw this. And Lion King is the remake is a top 10 highest grossing film of all time. Made way more than the original, which also made a shit ton of money.
What?
Good job, Disney. Great.
I thought it was bad. Okay, go on.
That's the thing. Do you want to make money or do you want to make art? Because Mufasa is like the third cousin twice removed from Hamlet. You have the sequel to the remake of an adaptation of a Shakespeare film from 500 years ago.
No, I'm in agreement. Mufasa is the third cousin twice removed of Hamlet. I'm in agreement.
But it still made hundreds, if not $1 billion. It made hundreds of millions of dollars, if not more. And that's great. And that made way more money than Hamlet did. Billy Shakespeare was not a billionaire, all right? He never got there. Yeah, but I'm sorry, in 50 years, not even in 10 years, no one's gonna fucking remember this Mufasa movie, and people are still gonna be talking about Hamlet. So there's a certain there's a limit, a ceiling of banking on nostalgia, and you can really tap into it. But it's like a high, it's like a drug. It doesn't last. Like you're not making something when you're just leeching off of other people's work and building off of an established fan base. You don't have the best you can be is a fucking branch off of an already mighty oak, versus. Fucking planting a seed and having a sapling that could become that mighty oak.
Mufasa doesn't get to go on the golden record that goes in orbit.
It'll make way more money than Hamlet ever did. But
it doesn't. What
does that mean?
Ethereal.
Yeah.
This is a very. I want to talk more about this. We have to get Shiho in here and talk to our wonderful guests today. I'm so excited and get back on our anime track. I think we're gonna sing a little.
Oh no.
I'm scared. But. This is something that comes up again and again, discussing nostalgia in video games, nostalgia in media, and it's a great jumping off point. I'm sure we're going to come back to this topic, and I know you have more to say.
I'm bursting.
I know.
Yeah.
But stick around. We're going to bring Shiho back on, and I think we're going to sing some anime songs.
Don't make me
Oh, no, you have to.
Sing.
You have to. We all have to.
J-pop!
Woo!
私が私のことを愛して何が悪いの嫉妬でしょうか痛いだとか変わってるとか届きませんねそのリプライ大好きなお洋服大好きなお化粧でお決まりのハーブツイン巻いてお出かけしよう日傘持ってぼっちだって幸せだもん可愛くてごめん生まれてきちゃってごめんあざとくてごめん気になっちゃうよねごめん可愛くてごめん努力しちゃっててごめんあざとくてごめん女子力高くてごめんムカついちゃうよねざまあ
We brought Shiho back. We didn't get to talk to her enough. We had so much more we wanted to do, so much more anime discussions, so much more. Well, first and foremost, karaoke.
Yes, she slept in the music room.
Yeah,
on-
she
on
slept
the
in the
piano
music
chairs.
room. She slept in the music
Until
room at the studio
This episode, yeah.
and waited until today.
Thank you for that, by the way.
So that's why she's still in the same cosplay. We woke her up. We were like, Shiho, it's time to come
ready.
back.
We're ready.
We're ready. Thank you for coming back. And for those that might not have seen the first episode where Shiho was our guest, please reintroduce yourself real quick for the people.
Yay! My name is Shiho and I go by Shippoku on Twitch and I'm an actor, model, and singer.
Singer, you say?
Oh, how
How
interesting.
interesting.
We discussed possibly doing some anime karaoke. I think some of like the most well-known most well-known songs in Japanese come from the opening and closing credit sequences from animes that we love. So we were all on board. We're not scared or nervous
Don't make me sing.
to sing. Marcus is nervous. Shiho is not because she's a great singer and does this all the time.
I'm nervous too.
But what song are you gonna
I
sing?
think ladies first.
I can do Pokemon!
But you're gonna do the Japanese one, right?
Yes!
You have to show us up.
Yes.
You have to sing beautifully in
Japanese
Japanese.
one, Nihonga.
Heck yeah. Okay, so wait, yeah, what's it called in Japanese?
Oh, 目指せ Pokemon Master!
And is this like the opening?
The original
The original.
opening, yes.
Ooh, I don't know if I've ever heard this.
I understood the Pokemon Master part. What's the first?
目指せ it's like, let's become.
Oh, let's become
Let's become
Pokemon, Masters.
Yeah.
Is that like the chorus of the song, or like is that
Well,
just
we're
the
gonna
name?
find out.
No, it's just a name.
Okay.
Or like, yeah, wannabe, or like,
gonna-
goal is.
I'm gonna be perking up my ears to see if there's a single Japanese word I pick up on from all my anime knowledge of trying to learn
Yes.
Japanese. Okay, so whenever you're ready, I'm so excited.
All right, let's go. 目指せ Pokemon Master. ゲットだぜ
Oh,
Rocky.
funky with the
You
horns.
never heard of this?
No.
Huh.
This is the original. Here we go. たとえ火の中、水の中、草の中、森の中、土の中、雲の中、あの子のスカートの中、キャーなかなかなかなかなかなかなかなか大変だけど、必ずゲットだぜ、ポケモン。ゲットだ、イヤイヤイヤイヤイヤイヤイヤ。マサラタウンにさよならバイバイ。俺はこいつと旅に出るピカチュウ鍛えた技で勝ちまくり仲間を増やして次の街へいつもいつでもうまくいくなんて保証はどこにもないけどそれはそりゃいつでもいつも本気で生きてるこいつたちがいる
Yeah.
Isn't that so cute?
Going.
Okay.
I want to see. I want to hear more. Oh, we're done.
Oh, is there more?
There's second verse was the same.
Okay.
I'm giving
Wait,
a huge
that
round
was
of applause.
okay. Now I want to know because I know the English version, which is maybe the one that most people think of in America when you think of Pokemon, which is "Gotta Catch 'Em All,"
Yeah.
which you're gonna sing.
Yeah, it's the only one I'm
So this one,
comfortable.
it's not. They're not talking about "Gotta Catch 'Em All." That's not even similar.
No.
So there's what are they? The only word I recognized was Pikachu.
Yeah,
And bye-bye.
wasn't it so
I did
good?
write
My
the bye-bye.
Pikachu.
Yeah, you could VO Pikachu. That was incredible.
I'm more. First of all, I was looking over to see like, ooh, and it's all Japanese text.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what it's saying. But
What's the lyrics? Oh, I still don't know.
that is like you were spitting.
This
Like
is hard.
Chuck D over there. Yeah, that was like.
There's
I
a
mean,
lot
I didn't hear any breaths. You were just
Yeah,
like
this is
perfectly
hard. It's like
hitting
it's so
every word.
rhyme.
No stumbles.
So what, for those non-Japanese speakers, what's sort of the premise of this opening for Pokemon? What are they saying?
So you know how Pokemon has different like genres of fire,
Yeah.
water.
Types.
So it's talking about even in the ground, in the cloud, and the fire, and then inside that girl's skirt, and they go. So it's like a little pervert.
So there's a little pervert Pokemon running under girl skirts. Classic. It
Japan
wouldn't.
is.
It wouldn't be.
Japan.
We were talking
I
about.
love Japan.
We were talking about the original Dragon Ball and how there was a lot of changes when it came to the
Yeah.
states because things just didn't translate
Oh,
well
yeah, I
of
bet.
girls and stuff
Yeah.
like that. We talked about it. We don't need to discuss. So that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's in the children's show. Love that. Thank you, Japan.
I love it.
And then what's the part when you said bye bye?
So it's a Masara town. That's the town that the
They're going off on the adventure.
yeah. They're leaving the town, Masara town. What's his name? Ash?
Ash, yeah, Kanto. No, that's Pallet Town.
Satoshi.
Pallet Town.
Satoshi.
Satoshi?
What is
Yeah.
That's his name?
Yeah, name change. I didn't know it's an Ash. They were like Ash. I was
They
like,
really
who's
shortened that.
Ash?
Yeah.
Satoshi. So they really
Satoshi.
just took some letters from
Yeah,
the Japanese
changed the
name and they were like,
so
Ash.
Boom.
he
One-
left the Masara town, the town.
bye bye.
Okay.
Yeah, to become a Pokemon master.
I love
Ah.
Bye bye.
Okay, so similar
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the English
Am
one?
I going to-
Yeah.
Okay.
it. Oh,
Do the
God.
English because we can cross compare. We can see
Yes.
the original Japanese and
Yes.
then the common English one.
This is not my idea.
And he goes, I'm leaving this town with this guy, Pikachu. That's where Pikachu comes out.
I'm leaving the town bye bye and
Yeah.
I'm leaving with this guy.
Yeah, Pikachu.
Aw.
Okay, here we come.
Really
Get my
cute.
Wi-Fi back.
Marcus, you got this.
Oh boy.
Let's see who's better.
Oh no, it's you. It's 100% you. Believe me.
It's Shiha. I can tell you. I can tell you
Mm.
now.
No, but I don't know this English version.
Oh, you've really never heard this?
I have heard of it, but I can't sing that.
This was a huge part of my childhood. Donkey Konga, back in 2004, 2005, had this.
Pokemon.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, please don't. Oh gosh.
Marcus, Shiho and I are ready, and the judgment will commence now.
I'm gonna have to take the octave at some point,
Okay.
That's fine.
and not standing up is gonna limit my range.
You got it.
Become a Pokemon.
Me, Mamalapopula.
Mommy made me mash my M&Ms.
Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Teach Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny. Oh, you're my best friend in a world we must defend. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em, a heart so true. Our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon. Whoa!
I am captured. Definitely captured.
I can so picture you as a child screaming that at your television. I can see it so clearly now.
A lot of passion, a lot of unfulfilled
I can
dreams are
see
coming
that.
out.
Yeah, was that good? Was it?
I think I need a moment.
That's okay. That was really good, Marcus.
Thanks, Sydney.
That was really good. I'm really proud of you.
I apologize.
Wow.
Those at home who are screaming along, that's so funny that you know that one so well.
Yeah.
Because that's the only one I know. Like out of all.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like this is the one that most people think of. Pokemon.
Yeah.
Gotta catch 'em all. Like it's such a.
There's no way I peaked the mic, right? There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way you scream too loud into the
Yeah,
microphone.
there's no way. Mhm.
Okay, there are two openings to animes that I know very well, but I only know like the first 10 seconds
Let's
because
go.
you know, you watch it and you're like,
Yeah.
that song slaps, but then you end up skipping the openings.
Right.
So like,
yeah, because you want to know what's going on.
they're also in Japanese. So like, I don't know Japanese, but I know what it sounds like, so I can pretend and just kind of like mumble the words. So no judgment, please. The first one is from Demon Slayer, and it's by Lisa, L-I-S. I think it's pronounced Lisa.
Oh my God, you're gonna do that one?
Yeah, just a little bit, and it's Gurenge. I think that's right. We'll see.
This is a hard one.
That's why I only
impressed
know.
already.
That's why I
I'm
only
so
know the
impressed.
first
Let's go.
10 seconds. All right, let's see. Let's see if Sydney can remember the words. Oh wait, I forgot immediately. Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah. Let me start over.
Take two.
It comes in so fast.
Yeah, it's a dun 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 to your good. Yeah.
It's on the downbeat. Music theory.
Let's see. I might have to skip to the next one if I can't get it, guys. Yeah, come in with me. 強くなれる礼をした僕を連れて進めどれ楽へのそまとにをくわばる黒こふれつわきちに見たものそらけさをyou don't know need this oh no I don't remember I got so scared I got so scared that one is really hard I just the heavy guitar is like it's so good and like Demon Slayer is such a good show for that song but let me do another that I really like and this is Yui, who did Full Metal Alchemist, which was like one of my favorite animes that I ever watched. I never do, this is what's hard, I never do the karaoke versions. I just sing them along to the song. So this is like, I never do this.
Now you're gonna do it.
And what better time than
I
Better
love
time than
it.
live on a
recording.
camera. Never done this before. Let's see. Classic. This is so nostalgic for me.
Sorry, The Cure.
Yes.
Let's see if I remember the words.夢の続きも描けと言ったはずなのに曲がれくねった細い道人につまずくあの頃に何て戻りたいお口なようなのにつけたらを探してる若くります言うじゃないなっていうな歌詞青は読めてよ Tonight, second, this goes so fast Could you sing this?
You killed it,
So
though.
fast I don't know if I can do the rest but
I thought that's perfect for your like
Yeah.
voice. That's awesome.
these are some of my favorite like opening songs in anime
So good.
because it's like female rock singer but then they sing so fast.
Yeah.
I was shocked that you were able to also sing. I feel like I don't know if it's the Japanese, I'm just not used to like the phrasing and like how fast the speech is. But like, man, that's hard. Props to you.
Props to you, Sydney. You deserve a round of applause. You
That's
killed
really
it.
good.
But I feel like the songs I like most, we talked about Utada Hikaru, who's like one of my favorite Japanese singers, but she sings in English a lot.
Yeah,
so I
she
sing
does.
her English songs, and she's done soundtracks for like Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2, which are some of my favorites. But just the English versions for old Sid. Dude, I want you to sing another song. Like, would you, or am I putting you on the spot?
We are from Aritake no Yume wa.
What is that from?
What?
What is it from?
One Piece?
We're a little. I'm a
One
little.
Piece.
We're bad.
I'm a little slow.
Okay.
We're bad. Whichever one you want to sing. I think people would love the One Piece.
Okay.
Or, I mean, Sailor Moon, obviously. but
And
yeah.
I have this one. It's not like anime, but Studio Ghibli.
Oh,
I
wait, what's from
love-
Studio Ghibli?
It's a Spirited Away. It's
Wait.
like a mellow song. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oh, that song. Wait, there's lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a very slow one.
Why don't we do that? Because I just did 2 like rock songs.
Okay.
Let's do that, and we'll
Okay.
phase back into out of karaoke, back into talking.
Okay, very mellow. Is that okay?
I
Yeah,
love
let's do
this
it.
song.
All right, me
Wow. Such a. I feel like I'm being gifted today.
We are.
The presence of Shiho to
always a gift.
sing here. What's the song called?
いつもなんだでも。
Oh, I love this song.
呼んでいる胸のどこか奥でいつも心躍る夢を見たい悲しみは数えきれないけれどその向こうできっとあなたに会える繰り返す過ちのその旅人はただ青い空の青さを知る果てしなく道は続いて見えるけれどこの両手は光を抱ける
That was beautiful.
I'm gonna cry.
You have a beautiful voice, Mike. I could listen to that all
thank
day.
you.
This don't. I hope this doesn't come off wrong. You sound like a songbird. It's like such a pure,
Really?
like
Like an
natural,
annoying
like.
one?
You
Yeah.
have such a beautiful voice.
You really do.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
really
And you
appreciate
have such
that.
range because you can do like the fast-paced like anime style, and then
Yeah.
This is different. This was hard.
that's classical. Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
opera basically.
Yes.
This is
that's what I'm saying.
elder, I wouldn't say elder, but like older women. It's the same word.
Yeah.
Older is women doing the harp and then singing.
So
It's
incredible.
beautiful. Yeah.
I feel like I'm literally like on the train to the grandma's house, like in Spirited Away. You know, like the sun is setting.
With the kaonashi, the no face.
Yeah.
Like, give me the money. Give me the money.
But it's so peaceful. I love that song. Oh, what a gift.
If we had to guess, and I know we heard 2 of your favorites just now, do you have and we'll kind of go into your favorite anime in general after this. Is there a favorite theme song for any anime that you can think of? Maybe one you can sing, maybe one you can't?
Sailor Moon, I love. But I realized these days the J-pop for anime songs are so hard.
I
It's
mean-
incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Yui it's her style.
Yeah.
It's like fast, but still the worst fitting, right? But the one I was doing yesterday from YOASOBI, the called Idol, it's
yeah.
so hard. They sing in a way that the words that don't really fit, but force them to fit. So they sing in a way that we don't speak in real life. It's like-
Interesting.
so you have to learn each line.
And then where to like take a breath.
Yeah, it's really hard. But the old ones, even if you've never heard of it, if you learn one verse, you can kind of pick it up and guess and sing the second verse.
Clearly, I'm like, I can guess at what the words are.
Make it till you make it
It's
bigger.
a little bit fast, but
Yeah.
oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah, so I want to sing the Idol, but you have to learn line by line, even for Japanese.
it's hard.
Yeah, so if it's hard for you, it's hard for me too. So
So is that your favorite maybe right now, the Idol one?
yeah, the one I
The new
really
one?
love.
What's the name of that show?
It's Oshinoko.
Oshinoko.
It's
okay.
so good. I just started watching. I think they have up to season 2. It's really good. Can I maybe talk
Yes,
about what it's
please.
about?
Please.
So it's Idol. You know, the Idol group in Japan is like a crazy. It's like a god.
Pop stars.
Yeah,
They're like
they
pop
have
stars.
insane fans, and I thought this is only about idols and girls trying to be like idols and how they make it. It's not even about that. And I started watching. So there's the semi popular idol, and she comes to this hospital, and there's a doctor, and he had a patient that unfortunately passed away, but she was the biggest fan of this idol, and she comes to the doctor, and she's pregnant with twins.
The Idol is pregnant, which is a
Yeah, the Idol.
big deal.
Yeah, and the doctor, he was like, holy shit. And then he became a fan because he had a patient that was a fan. And like, what are you going to do? And he decided to help her. And
Secretly.
Yeah, secretly. Nobody knows about this. And they can't. And Idol was like so determined, I'm still going to do Idol work, but it's give birth. And he's going to help her. And she's so close to the delivery. The doctor decided to go home. And this crazy stalker comes out and says, you're taking care of I. She's pregnant, isn't she? And he stabbed the doctor, and he falls off the cliff, and he dies.
This is such a dramatic anime already.
Did he die from the stab or the fall?
Marcus, it doesn't matter. He's dead.
Yeah.
He's definitely dead,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
We see
he
his-
didn't stop.
We see his body. I'm just saying, when people get
wait.
thrown off a cliff, and I just watched Squid Game.
No.
Spoilers.
No, wait.
That doesn't mean
he definitely
you're dead.
dies because tell Marcus.
Yeah. And then his head was bleeding. The phone's going off because maybe she's about to give birth. And she gives birth to the twins. Guess what? They reincarnated this doctor and the patient.
Reincarnated into the twins.
Yeah. Son and daughter.
Yeah, they have like a past life that
Okay.
they don't know
They don't
about. They
remember
kind
it?
of know about it.
They have the memory, but these twins don't know their backgrounds. So they don't know it was a patient and doctor. So they have their each mission. The patient never was able to walk and dance. So she wants to be an idol like I. And the doctor, he wants to find out who killed him. And also later the twins grow up to like 2 years old. And I is about to leave for the biggest concert. Now she became the biggest star of, in Japan, the biggest idol. She's about to go to the biggest concert. And she opens the door. Stalker's there. He stabs her and she dies.
And guess what? It sounds like Shiho might be like spoiling this. This is in the first this is in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So like
2, 3, yeah.
This sets up the whole premise for the show.
Yeah.
Which is great. This is why I love anime, because you see this anime and you're like, oh, okay, it's about like J-pop idols in Japan. It's cutesy girl stuff. And then turns out, nope. It's a thriller murder mystery that is about
I love it.
reincarnated twins who are born and have past memory. Like, this is why I love anime. Sometimes
Yeah.
there's repetition. There's a lot of cliches in anime. There is like always the young boy with superpowers. And he has to come into his own. It's the Naruto. It's the My Hero. It's like it's a trope.
Well, there's
But
tropes and
then-
everything, but yeah.
But then you get amazingly unique, bizarre animes that come out of nowhere.
I was just gonna say the time lapse alone of how you're telling this generational story, I feel like can only be really done through a medium like anime. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I
That's
feel
super
like
cool.
similar to another anime I loved that I think was a manga first. It was made into a live action as well. It's called it's either Erased or Erase, but it's about like the past bleeding into the future, time travel, all this stuff that can really only be done in an anime. They did a live action, which was not too bad. But yeah, that I want to watch that anime now.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, have you ever seen Perfect Blue?
No, I've never seen it.
Classic.
Oh, really good.
Yeah.
Similar, very different, but like similar
wanna
idea of a popular actress and musician who gets murdered. And it's like a murder mystery. It's the same makers of Paprika, which was
Very
the
classic.
inspiration for the movie Inception, which is weird. It doesn't seem like it would be, but it was. Paprika, highly recommend, animated film. But yeah,
How did the murder happen?
in Perfect Blue,
Yeah. Stabbing?
I don't remember.
I couldn't remember either.
It's
been like
always
10 years.
stabbing in Japanese
Yeah,
language.
they
Did you
don't have
realize?
guns. They have no guns, so
Yeah,
they're just
no
stabbing.
guns.
No, there was a lot of weird stuff. There was like they like sent her threatening mail. There was like something in the mail they opened up, like anthrax or something. Like,
okay,
there was a
okay.
lot of I forget. I should rewatch that movie.
Yeah.
Highly recommend Perfect
Okay.
Blue if you like
Perfect
that
Blue.
show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
really
a
like
classic.
it.
That's like
Do you think this show right now is your favorite, or do you have an older favorite?
Yeah, I'm still learning.
Okay.
So I want to keep watching because now the son wants to find out. Like he wants to be.
killer.
Yeah. So he's becoming an actor so that he has access to everybody that the idol had.
Oh,
so he's gonna collect all the DNA
fascinating.
to find out
infiltrate
the
the scene,
killer.
the industry.
Yeah. So this is very interesting.
But this is also very different from Spy Family.
Well, it's kind of well, yeah, it's very different.
But you
yeah.
like Spy Family too.
Yeah,
Is that like
I love Spy
another
Family.
favorite?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like it. Yeah.
Which is more like I feel like the superpower kind of tropey thing.
Everybody has a secret in the family, in the fake
I
family.
do love me some spy, especially when Danny Trejo shows up as the uncle, but he's not really their uncle.
What?
Yeah.
What?
What are you talking
And
about?
then they gotta like fight the thumb people.
Are you talking about Spy Kids?
Yeah, what are you guys? That's what
You're
we're
talking about
right?
the movie Spy Kids
like,
with
what?
What are we talking?
Antonio Banderas?
Of course. Yeah, and then what are you talking about?
Quack, quack. I'm talking about
No, we're all talking about the same thing.
Yes.
Spy Kids,
Yeah.
the anime show.
Danny Trejo's great.
Do you have a favorite anime?
I do. We talked about it yesterday. I'm a basic bitch.
What do you like?
Sitting here, I like Dragon Ball Z
Oh, right, Dragon Ball Z.
because I was 5 when I saw it, and I prefer Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z. But I talk about this too much. I'm basic. I like the classics. I grew up with
I gotta
it.
check out Spy Family. There's so many that I've missed out on. Just like they were on the periphery,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then people were like, "You should watch it," and I was like, "Yeah, I'll get to it," but I forget. So if you had to list like 3 that you want people to watch that they might not know about,
Okay, definitely Spy Family.
okay.
And now I'm watching Demon Slayer.
Oh yeah,
It is so good. Why did I not watch it a
That's what
long
I'm
time
saying.
ago?
just missed out. Like
I know, I was too busy. And when the Demon Slayer played the actual movie in
Yeah.
the theater, we were out because I was working in news. It was so
Oh, wow.
popular. We had to go to theater to interview people, but I was too busy like interviewing people. I couldn't even watch the movie, you know.
But this is great because now you have season 1, season 2,
I
the
know.
movie. You have so much to catch
I
up
know,
on.
and you know what I'm doing? Samurai Sword every Saturday
What?
for acting.
You're doing-
Oh, you
It's
like
not
sword
anime,
fighting?
but have
Stunt-
you seen
stunt work?
Shogun?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Love
Yeah.
Shogun.
I love Shogun.
Shogun was
Sweeping the Emmys.
such a good show.
I know.
I can't wait for the next season.
So my sensei is in Shogun.
That's
So
awesome.
he teaches samurai sword in
Where-
Brooklyn.
where-
So
Brooklyn?
cool.
Yeah, so I do this every Saturday. I become a actual member and I perform twice as a ninja. Like,
You have some footage?
yeah, but
Yeah.
me, like I'm a ninja, so you don't even see my.
Oh wait, you're fully wearing all
yeah,
covered.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So Demon Slayer, I love it because sometimes randomly he says like Kisagiri, and he mentions the certain cuts that we're
Oh.
learning. So I'm also learning by watching this, like how he cuts and how he ends, all the basic stuff that he's doing that you might not notice. We're doing this in class. I'm like, okay,
That's
Wait,
awesome.
I can do that too.
Do you use a real katana?
I mean, it doesn't cut
It's,
like
it's
this.
not sharp, but
yeah.
it hurts.
Yeah. It's the wood
Ah, it's the
katana.
wood. So cool.
So in that sense, I think Demon Slayer it's great in so many ways because I'm sure they have an expert explaining how all of these are called so that
Sure.
they would be culturally correct.
Sure.
Like how they, just putting at the katana, how do you say, pulling the sword.
Yeah.
There's
Every part of it, yeah.
basics that he needs to do, and I think he does that.
You
And
know,
I think it's so cool.
That's so cool too, because in Shogun, I was reading a lot about it because it's historical as well. It's Edo period Japan, which is different, obviously, than modern Japan. And there was one thing that I found so interesting. They had experts who gave them advice about things in the show, the clothing, the houses, like everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things was women, when they sit, when you think of sitting in the Japanese style, it's like on the knees and you sit very properly. Apparently, in that time period, women did not sit like that. They sat like splay-legged, like one leg out in front of them and one knee tucked behind. So like it would seem inappropriate now for like traditional Japanese ways of sitting. So they told them that. They were like, actually, in this time period, women would sit like that. And they all got together and discussed it. And they were like, I don't think that'll play well for the audience. They'll think it's weird. They'll think it's, they won't think it makes sense. Even though it's historically correct, they will think it looks really bad and they don't
so
want to do it. So
interesting.
they made like
Interesting.
slight
Yeah.
changes to the accuracy because for a modern viewer, they would just be like,
what?
that
What are
doesn't
they-
make any sense.
Yeah.
These women are sitting crazy. But I found that so interesting.
Wow.
Your sensei must have been on them like, they don't hold the sword like that. Put that sword away. You got to do it like this. So that's so
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
So
And
knowledgeable.
by doing this, you know what I learned? The main character is great. Of course, they always look great in the cameras, but the ones around them have to be more trained because we always have to make sure they look like the strongest person, right? How to
Yeah.
like the attackers are the actual ones that are super trained.
Yeah, and also they're the ones who do a lot of the background fighting. Like the main fight scenes, there's so many cuts.
Yeah.
You can't really see the fight, but the background, they're constantly fighting like
Yeah.
in the background, so they have to look realistic. They have to
Yeah.
look good. That makes a lot of sense.
Featured
Yeah.
extra budget must be quite high.
That
but
Yeah.
I'm sure the budget on that show,
hope
they
so.
had a
Yeah.
Better be to
lot
get it
of
right.
yeah.
That's why it's great. The Japanese shows, but are shot by non-Japanese, and that's how they do well.
Yeah.
If it was shot in Japan, it wouldn't have done this well.
No, you don't
This
think
was
so?
You don't
shot
think
in
so?
Canada
Yeah.
with the money and everything.
Yeah.
Japan is very cheap.
You need the budget, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have one last question, just to bring it back to
Yeah.
something I'm a little more knowledgeable
Yeah.
about.
Tell us.
We talked about Perfect Blue, and I think anime it's often thought about as the shows.
Sure.
They do these long running shows, but for me, I'm more of a movie guy, so that's what I gravitate towards.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned Perfect Blue, and I'm all about the old school classics, Akira,
course.
whatever you want to say, Perfect Blue. Paprika, as
Yeah.
you said, and then Ghost in the Shell. I feel like those are like the four like quintessential classic anime films. And then you have your Studio Ghibli, which I think you could throw into there as well.
Gotta.
My favorite is Castle in the Sky. That's
Oh.
my favorite kind of anime film of all. Kiki's Delivery Service is a close second. So my question to you, I guess, before we wrap things up, sadly, what is your favorite anime film? If you could, in Studio Ghibli,
Yeah.
tell us.
Ghibli,
Yeah.
but not the castle one because I love Spirited Away so much. The
Spirited Away is
characters
classic.
resemble too much. I feel like.
Yeah.
I even watched Spirited Away twice in theater, real time.
Oh, wow.
In theater, like with popcorn with my mom. She was sleeping. I was so mad. Like, you missing out.
You're crying,
Yeah,
and she's
like
just.
different.
Wait, so Spirited Away is number one.
It's impossible to choose number one, but I love that and then Princess Mononoke.
Oh, great.
so good.
Underrated.
So good. It's
Yeah.
Is it underrated? I think it's rated pretty well, but I think maybe.
Princess Mononoke to me is like a top 2-3 Studio Ghibli, and I feel like it's
Yeah.
not. People
Yeah.
always they put Howl's Moving Castle
I like
and
how
Spirited Away
I
above
like
it. And
Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, then definitely Princess Mononoke. I would say above, I don't know, Ponyo or they're all great.
Totoro
It's-
is
Totoro is
That's the
amazing.
other one I was
You know
thinking, top
Totoro is
three.
how deep it is. It's not for
Totoro's
children.
No, Totoro's amazing, but
None
like
of them are really.
you don't know what that movie's about until you watch it. You think it's like cute cat, cat butt. No,
No.
it's creepy. It's weird. It's so bizarre.
I think Princess
Um,
Mononoke, when I was a kid, I shied away from it thinking it was like a Princess Disney movie. And then I finally saw it. I'm like, this is the most intense, like
about
action
deforestation.
War. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
It's like,
I was
it's
scared to
Avatar
watch
before
it when I
Avatar.
was a child.
Yeah.
Remember all the monsters like.
He's like drinking blood out of his like, wolf. I'm like,
when the
that's,
when the
that's-
wolf gets
wild.
hurt.
that is, it's baller. It's
I want
gangster.
to add one more too outside of Studio Ghibli. There's also a film I saw in theaters called Suzume, which is really really good. It looks like it would be a Miyazaki film, but it's not. But it's about a girl with these like magical portals, these doors to different places.
Okay.
And she meets this guy, and about 10 minutes into the movie, it's like a hot guy. Like you're like, oh,
Okay, watching it.
yeah, you're like, okay, like these two. He gets turned into a chair.
What?
Yeah, he gets turned into a small.
Is he here?
A small wooden. Yeah, literally a small
Is
wooden.
this an isekai type situation?
No,
or-
it's like he
I
gets
woke
turned
up
into
as a chair.
a small wooden chair, and he can kind of like move around, but he has to help this girl, but he's like useless for the whole movie. But it's about her. She is like the protagonist, which is really fun. But I highly recommend Suzume if you haven't seen it. Magical movie, but with some very heartfelt moments of a girl finding her way in the world.
What happens at the end?
No spoilers. No
He
spoilers.
takes a seat.
No spoilies. We have to end our segment with you because we got to move on to the tier list. But do you want to just do the tier list with us?
Okay.
It's-
Why not?
So, surprise, surprise! It's about anime. I think this will be good. I think you could help us. We're gonna
Okay.
do most iconic animes, and we're gonna rank them like
Okay.
best to worst,
Or in order of iconicness.
yeah, order of like how
Iconography.
iconography, how iconic. So stick around. We're gonna stay with Shiho and jump to our tier list.
Coming up next on Next Level Play. Wipe those tears and put them on a list. It's time for the tier list.
Tier list.
Tier list.
Tier list with Shiho.
Yeah.
We are gonna do. Don't kill us in the comments. We're gonna do most iconic animes in order from. We'll say most iconic to least iconic.
because these are all bangers.
They're all
in their own
bangers.
right. Yeah.
Some of them I'm probably gonna shit on a little bit.
That's the point.
Just a little bit, but that's okay. But I want to be positive to start,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna give an S tier right off the bat because it is so influential and iconic. Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh, okay.
Neon Genesis Evangelion. I feel like it's the mix of heroic boy trope, even though he's not really a hero, mechs, coming of age, sad death scenes, and bizarro endings that just leave you asking more questions than you ever have answered. I think it's a great anime. I think the films are great. Personally, I really like it. Some people are divided. But I think it deserves to be an S tier.
I like your. I've heard many good things. I haven't personally watched it.
Highly
so
recommend.
I don't know, but okay, great. S. I've heard it's the GOAT from some, so I will take your word for it. I'm thinking purely iconic, a show that I know based on the memes, the clips, the soundtrack especially, but I haven't really given a full watch.
Okay.
I'm going old school. Berserk.
Ah.
How many memes have I watched with the Guts theme playing? So many. I feel like it's so iconic, but again, I couldn't tell you half of the things that happen. I can tell you a tenth of what happens in the anime. So I'm going to put it as a solid A because I know so much about it without ever having seen it. So I feel like that, when you're looking at iconic, I have one more that's above it, very biased, as an S, but that is my A, starting with Berserk.
Okay. Shiho, do you have one you want to throw on the list?
I have two. One, Sailor Moon.
Yes.
Classic.
Growing up, I even had a Sailor Moon bicycle. I would let no one touch it. They have Sailor Moon like circling around. We press the button, and I loved it because I was so little, but it's like women power, and they have women girls that are fighters, and there's still like a love story as well.
Of course,
I love Sailor Moon, and also you might not know this Doraemon. It's a blue cat robot.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, there's AI, and it's like a robot. And it's a cat, but because Mouse ate those ears, he has no ears.
Oh,
and it's so
wait, a mouse
cute.
ate his ears? Is that the lore? That's why he has no ears?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That's why
They just
he's
forget
like
to draw it,
round.
and then
He's so scared of Mouse.
Oh,
and he gets to like use items to fly and then go back in time.
I know the character. Very iconic. Have never seen the show.
You have to.
Okay.
It's what I grew up with, and I think it's one of the first shows that I watched that the protagonist is bullied. He's not so strong. That's why Doraemon, the robot, helps him out.
Underdog story.
And I grew up with it. It's so cute.
Where would you place
Freak the Mighty.
Doraemon and Sailor Moon on the list?
Sailor Moon top.
Okay.
So that's an S.
That's an S.
Yeah.
S for Sailor Moon.
Doraemon A.
A.
Okay.
Okay.
Solid.
I
Keeping
trust.
things positive.
I trust.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
I want to throw Samurai Champloo on because I think it is extremely iconic, though not as like Cowboy Bebop. I love the animation style, and the soundtrack is so good. It slaps. But just for iconicness, I'm going to put it in a B.
Okay.
Just wanted to get it on the list.
Solid. I want to talk about Sailor Moon for a second because just going back to childhood, my brother was really into Toonami, but my friends, there were some girl. I was like 5. There were girls across the street, and they were obsessed with Sailor Moon. So as far as my friends and my peers were concerned, the late '90s, Sailor Moon was a segue, and not just for women, but for all anime fans in the West. Like really was that, and the next one on my list really kind of brought so much of the Western audience into anime. I bring up that story because we were all hanging out watching Sailor Moon, and we all picked like a different planet and character to be. And I was like, I want to be Jupiter. And they all made fun of me. And they're like, no, you have to be the one boy, dude.
Yeah, you can't be the girl.
Like, okay. Anyway, Sailor Moon's great. But for me, what my brother really watched, I dare say the kind of yin and yang to Sailor Moon is, of course, Dragon Ball Z. I got to talk about Dragon Ball Z. It's what got me into anime, got so many people in the West into anime. I don't think how iconic. I feel like it's almost a little watered down now because everyone knows Goku, and it's been such a common, part of society and culture for the last 30 years now. But I don't think you can understate the impact that Dragon Ball Z had for anime in the West, and I think you got to put it as an S for iconic.
Okay.
And then I'll my last one that I'm going to provide. I'm going to go negative with a hot take, just because I feel the need to do a hot take. One Piece, I'm giving you a D.
Whoa.
Because you're just too fucking long. There's no way I'll ever be able to catch up. There's not enough time in my lifetime.
You might as well throw Naruto at a C then, because it's just as long.
Fuck you, Naruto. You're getting a C. But One Piece, The longest running anime of all time.
I'm not with
right?
him.
It's a fucking D for
I'm
that
not-
reason and that reason alone.
I'm not with him.
I can't wait to see the comment section.
Oh my God. Do you have any more you want to throw on before we end?
Yes, a Pokemon definitely has to be
classic.
there,
S,
right? So,
S.
yes, 100%. Yeah.
But the video games are so much better.
I'll also throw Full Metal Alchemist in at an A. I think it was very influential.
Never seen.
Maybe I'll move it down to a B. And then one more, I'm going to be a little negative. I've seen this anime. I don't think it's that iconic. I just had to throw it on because it's bizarro. But I'm going to put Sword Art Online as a C, maybe a D. I feel like it was influential for the you're trapped in a video game thing, you know, Ready Player One style. You can't take the VR headset off. You die.
You die.
If you die in the
game, you die for real.
You die in real life. But
Like Squid Game.
Sword Art was great, and then Sword Art Online 2 it just went so off course. It got so weird. But yeah, I just wanted to get it on there. And I think that's it. That's all the anime in the entire world.
How do you feel about Digimon?
Digimon?
Do some quick,
It was there.
quick rankings.
For me, it always felt like a copy of Pokemon.
Yeah, okay.
And a
so-
copy of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Never
So
got
a
like
C for
it.
copycat,
Yeah.
maybe?
C, I would put Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh! In C.
Really? What's Yu-Gi-Oh ripping off? Magic the Gathering, I guess.
Kind of.
Yeah.
A card builder.
But Magic the Gathering didn't have a
I summon Pot of Greed.
old school Yu-Gi-Oh.
Blue Eyes White
Weird
Dragon.
hot take. No. Before the card game. So Yu-Gi-Oh was actually Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Masters. The original anime was just any game. One game he was playing like rock paper scissors, but then he would always. And Yu-Gi-Oh was so much darker, and he would always kill his victims or steal their soul. Oh yeah.
Gritty Yu-Gi-Oh!
Wow.
Yu-Gi-Oh before the duelist monsters, which was supposed to just be a one-off, like parody of Magic.
But then they figured out they could sell.
And then when they brought it to the West, they ignored that first season and anyway. Yu-Gi-Oh's great. Original series A. Duelists C for
C.
copycat. Why not? Yeah.
we got to end the list there. We could go on for ages, and
We really
maybe
could.
we will. Maybe we'll have Shiho back on another anime episode. This has been so much fun.
We just scratched the surface.
We barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
We could dive in way deeper. But Shiho, before we say goodbye, please tell the people where they can find you.
Yes.
Anything you're up to, anything you want to plug.
Yes. I'm pretty active on Instagram. It's my full name, Shiho Matsuoka, and I stream very randomly, and I go by Shippoku. It's SHIPPOKU.
And can you spell your handle on Instagram first real quick?
It's Shiho Matsuoka. SHIHOMATSUOKA.
Perfect.
It really,
Thank
it
you.
really is spelled how it sounds. So look up Shiho online, follow her on Twitch and Instagram if you want to see her stuff, hear her sing more, and if you want to hear us talk more, stick around because we have to jump to our next segment with our favorite guy, Samurai.
Yay! Samurai's coming up next to postmark the episode with post-market news. Looking forward to it. Welcome back to Next Level Play. P.S. We got one more segment for you. Post-market news. We bring in Samurai.
Samurai, you remember this guy? How could one forget?
Sorry, I was just surging with power.
All good. So this is the segment where Samurai makes some very bold predictions, and we let him know what we think.
And we listen, Marcus, we listen
100%. All ears open. All two of them.
respectfully.
What's going on today, Samurai?
Today, Marcus, I have a prediction that's so good, that's so potent, I can taste it on my tongue.
Oh, I don't. What does it? What does it taste like?
There. Lavender with a little bit of maple.
Oh, that's actually sounds lovely. It sounds like a latte I would
Oh,
get.
so it's quite good. It's quite good.
Okay. So what's this delicious prediction?
Wow!
Jesus.
Are we familiar with the Life is Strange video game franchise?
Yes, I love that franchise.
Same here, great franchise.
How did you know that?
Well, I know a lot about everything.
Yeah.
Life
wow.
sure is strange.
Sure is.
Life is strange.
Now, are we aware that they recently announced a sequel to Life is Strange at the Xbox conference of announcing?
Yes, which I'm very
What's it called?
excited about.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called Life is Strange Double Exposure, and it will follow the original protagonist, Max Caulfield, as she embarks on an adult adventure. She was in high school in the first game. She's now embarking on an adult adventure
Don't phrase it
in
that way.
the state of Vermont. We've only seen limited trailers, Marcus. I don't want to rule out any
All we
possibilities.
can say at this point is adult adventure.
That's all we know.
We
She
only
goes on
know-
an adventure and she's an adult.
You keep saying it. Yep,
Yeah.
go on.
She
Okay.
goes on a solo life discovery trip. It's an adult adventure.
It's an adult adventure. As we all leave our house every day, we go on an adult adventure and then we come back.
Yep, that's what I say. I say goodbye every day to my fiance. I go, I'm going on an adult adventure. I'll be back at 5.
Exactly right. That's what I say to all my adoring, loving fans.
We
when I
just
get off the
really,
stream.
yeah, we just, every time you get off the stream, you go, I'm leaving to go on an adult adventure?
Every single time.
Wow, that's a really good sign off. Marcus, we should start saying that at the end of the show.
You'll have to pay me $50 every time you say it.
Never mind.
Anyway, my prediction today is that, okay, so we know in the first game, Max Caulfield, she could manipulate time to change her decision. So as the gamer, you can rewind and you can change your decisions. You can see.
You got the snow globe and like you're trapped in the snow globe and you're like, this game is crazy.
Yes, it's very crazy, but you can change all your decisions. We don't exactly know the powers that Max will wield in the new Life is Strange, but we do know that it will take place in the state of Vermont, a beautiful, lush, green state, hardly touched by human influence. I think less than 1 million people live there. So my prediction today is that in the upcoming Life is Strange double exposure, Max Caulfield will use her powers to finally start deforesting the state because they've had it too good for too long. She's gonna get rid of all the green forest and she's gonna make beautiful strip malls as far as the eye can see.
I don't, did you play the first game?
Yes.
You did play the first game.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember the main plot line surrounding Acadia National Park? They live in beautiful Acadia.
Yes.
And they're very big on like the horrible weather that's going on. It's like the storm.
I remember they were favorable of it, right? They were very excited for the
No,
storm.
no, they didn't. They did not like the storm.
They were storm chasers, if I remember correctly.
I think you're thinking of the movie Twister.
Didn't they get into a van and drive into a cornfield?
That
and
is the movie Twister. Did you get confused about a prediction, perhaps? Because
I remember it well.
Okay.
There's a van. They go into a cornfield. At one point, I remember Max is holding on to the side of the door and she's going to blow away into the wind.
but they use the belt and tie it to a pipe in the ground.
You remember Life
I
is
remember
Strange.
the life. Yeah, it's the
you
first
remember
game.
Life is Strange.
Yeah, Samara, I gotta be honest. This one just seems a little too, Marcus.
Okay, listen. I have a lot of family in New Jersey. You're proposing turn Vermont into New Jersey too, basically.
Yeah.
Newer
And
Jersey.
they're
Newer Jersey.
Newer
sure.
Jersey is what they're gonna call it.
I don't think anyone's on board with that. New Jerseyans.
It's not about who's on-
Vermontiers. Bernie Sanders, Ben and Jerry definitely wouldn't be down with this.
Here's the thing, it doesn't matter who's on board. Max has supernatural powers, and if she decides she's going to do it, she's going to do it.
Here's my question. Here's my question. In the strip malls that they make, are the nail salons good? Are they good? Like, are they actually good?
It'll be up to Max.
Will there be at least 10% eyebrow threading places? Which how the fuck are they all in business?
I think
I don't know.
10%
What's up with that?
eyebrows, 10% nail salons, 80% esports cafes.
Okay.
For beautiful, beautiful gamers to play games.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and say we will have to wait and see as more information comes
Yeah.
out about that new Life is Strange game. Actually, this one is perfect. I'll put this on I'm in danger because we are in danger of ruining the planet Earth.
I'm gonna have a Professor Frank hesitation.
Oh, that's
little
good.
fit on this one.
Where is that on the meter?
It's right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah,
I
nailed
mean,
it.
listen, forests are dying, but so are malls. So, like,
And,
you know.
and so are we. Thanks for tuning in to Next Level Play. Samurai, thanks so much for coming on, and we'll probably have you back. Probably. So thanks so much for coming by, and stick around, because we're going to be back with a new episode of Next Level Play coming up, and we'll be talking to more guests and stuff.
Yeah,
and
we're going to
more-
have more crazy debates, analysis. We're going to get mad at each other. We're going to have a lot of fun. And you're going to be there.
We'll have Samurai.
and Samurai will
Samurai.
be there.
See you soon. Thanks for watching.